was Doug Ord's last wish when he got wind that we were planning an event, was to have proceeds go to ALS Ontario. So Doug Ord was a client of ours. So folks that know and love him, including his wife, got involved, of course, and his Toronto Police Services friends, and the Filipino community, who obviously to this day and for a long time to come, I think, will always honor his memory. So this is how it all came about. So all these different groups are involved in the organization of tonight's tribute. A further thing that's come from this is they wanted something that lasted rather than a one night event. So the Doug Ord Memorial Fund was created, and it's being unveiled tonight. And this fund, the hope is that people that come here tonight will be inspired to take the idea of this fund back to their workplace, associations, organizations.
So is this fund part of ALS?
Yeah, all funds will go to ALS Ontario, and we'll use that money to provide all the equipment that patients need with ALS, and they need a lot, because the disease progresses in such a way that they have to move from one piece of equipment to another, and sometimes there can be 5 pieces of equipment happening all at once for them, whether it's a commode tilt or a hospital bed or a specialized wheelchair, etc. So we provide a lot of that, plus support services.
Okay.
We organize support groups that Doug was part of, and Maureen, his widower, was part of. So this fund will continue, hopefully, and grow.
Okay, thanks.
Not at all. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. On behalf of my family, I would like to thank each one of you for joining us in honoring Doug's life and supporting a very worthwhile organization, the ALS Society of Ontario. A special thank you to the members of the organizing committee, Teresa and Ramon Torralbo, Toronto Police Constable Renato Valdez, and Brian Dumpy, and Maisie Leon of the ALS Society of Ontario. I would like to also extend a warm welcome to Chief Bill Blair, Staff Inspector Jane Wilcox, and Inspector Stu Ely of the Metro Toronto Police Force. Thank you for attending and supporting this event tonight. I would like to mention that there are several members of the Toronto Police Force who are struggling with ALS. My thoughts are with them and their families this evening. And finally, to the Filipino community, whom Doug loved and served for 17 years. Thank you for remembering and honoring Doug in this way. I would like to share a little of our journey with ALS. Doug retired in January 2007. And 14 months later, after noticing progressive weakness and muscle atrophy in his left hand, was diagnosed with ALS. It was hard to believe. Our world was turned upside down. I had a very difficult time accepting that my husband would continue to deteriorate physically and would probably die within 2 to 5 years. However, Doug was determined with God's help to live each day as fully as possible. Following retirement, Doug started working for Toronto Tours, driving a tour bus and giving guided tours of the city. He loved entertaining people from around the globe who took a city tour on his bus, especially in the summer months. He continued to do this after his diagnosis. He planned and took his 3rd trip to the Philippines in February 2009, and a few months later organized a trip to England and Scotland, which we enjoyed together. He continued to amaze us with his culinary skills after taking several cooking courses at George Brown College.
Bill Blair.
Thank you, Teresa. I hope nobody minds, but I can project, so I'm going to speak without the microphone. I hope you're going to speak without the microphone. Thank you. First of all, I am very, very sincerely honored to have the opportunity to come here for a number of reasons. First of all, certainly the cause is a worthy one, and I'll speak a little bit about that in a moment. But remembering Doug Ord is perhaps the most worthy reason for us all to be here today. And Doug was a very special man and a special police officer. And I just wanted to share a little bit of why I believe he was such a special man. I've known Doug for quite a number of years. I used to work out of the building over at Constable Ord. That's where Doug worked. And of course, we crossed paths many times. But one of the things when I really recognized the uniqueness of the Doug Ord, I was the unit commander down in 51 Division, which included the St. Jamestown community. There's a very large Filipino community resident in St. Jamestown, and certainly there was in the mid-90s. And although it was a very law-abiding community and hard-working people, it was also a community that we wanted to serve and to understand and to know better. And so I sought help in that community from experts, from police officers who would have knowledge of the community. And I was quite frankly surprised when I went to headquarters and I said, I want to speak to a police officer who is known in this community and trusted in this community, that I was reintroduced to Doug Ord. And I sat down with Doug, and he actually came to my office in 51 Division, and we talked about the community. And I was, first of all, absolutely astounded by his knowledge of that community. But I was equally astounded by his profound respect and affection for that community. You could tell it was sincere. You could tell this man truly cared about the people in that community. And you know, we were just in that era of policing, transitioning over to a community focus, a community orientation in our policing, to connect and re-engage with the people of our city, and particularly for the diverse people of our city, because as we all know, Toronto is a remarkably diverse city. And people have come from all over the world. And they speak every language, and they practice every faith, and they know every culture. And we were not yet a diverse police service. But Doug Ord had that incredible diverse perspective, that we had hoped to build a police service that would share that perspective. But Doug was perhaps the first police officer who I had ever met who really, truly had that diverse perspective, that appreciation and knowledge and affection for the communities that we're sworn to serve. He made a very sincere effort to be known in those communities, to understand them, to understand the challenges that they faced, to be worthy of their trust, and to represent them to all of us, and to represent the police service to those communities. He was an incredible bridge for us. He was a very, very special police officer.